put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet, that bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, true believers? Welcome to the Believes Crypto Show. My name is Believes. We're here to talk about this crazy, psychotic, loony, insano, Captain Insano even, crypto world. And the question that we're going to ask today is, does Ethereum have to pump for an altcoin season? And my answer to that is going to be 100% yes, it does. And if you don't think that we have to have a pump on Ethereum, then we got to ask you one question.
Why are you gay?
And that's the one. Because if you don't have Ethereum pumping, then the liquidity does not rotate the right way. And that means that we're going to have a muted altcoin season. So as most of you know, I've told you that I don't think Ethereum really has it in it right now for the massive $12,000 to $13,000 run that we originally thought was maybe going to happen. But that's not because I don't have faith in Ethereum. It's because the market has just made me look at things a little bit differently. Bitcoin, 175,000, still feels right. Solana no longer feels right because they're minting too many Solana. XRP feels right. I gave you a $25 prediction. I think XRP is ready for a run that will extend it to near $25. Now, the problem with that is that in order for that to happen, in my opinion, it's going to have to flip Ethereum. And there is not enough volume from XRP in order to do that. So we're going to break some of this down along the way, try to figure out exactly what is happening, what could happen. And also an announcement. HBAR has launched its own ETF. So, and by the way, this is with the SEC shutdown. Remember, one of the processes, there's two ways that you can get an ETF approved. There's the old way that with the government shutdown now in its 27th day, the Solana ETF has not been approved. The XRP ETF has not been approved because the SEC is not at work. So until they go to work, we're not going to have those approved. But there was a way that people found to bypass this and to start get ETFs listed without going through the normal securities process. And one of those, Canary Capital, has done it multiple times. So they've launched an HBAR ETF, which is why HBAR is up about 12% today. Not only is HBAR up 12% today, Tau is starting to move. Tau up, I want to say about 10% on the day. Might be a little bit less because it starts to range a little bit, pushes a little bit, and then you get a little bit of sell-off. Now, it's at a price that, I mean, it's not pumping because these are prices that, you know, we saw a couple of days ago, but it's recovering very, very swiftly. The market, in fact, seems to be recovering pretty well from the winter mute dump. So let's break all of this down and try to figure out what is going on. First up, the Ethereum super cycle strengthens as SharpLink Gaming withdraws 78 million in Ethereum. Ethereum's fundamentals continue to strengthen. SharpLink on-chain data shows that Sharp, good Lord, I can't even say Sharp today. Son of a bitch. SharpLink Gaming moved 78 million worth of ETH from Falcon X. The transfer, revealed by analyst Ted Pillows, reflects growing accumulation among institutional players buying into the recent market dip. Now, that is a great sign for the future of Ethereum, and it might change my thesis just a little bit. Now, remember, for most of you to understand, my thesis on a lot of these different cryptos is this, that what it does We look at the previous market cycle, and then we look at the pivot low down here. And then we predict where it's going to go. Now, the original pivot, by the way, was the previous low to the top, but we're trying something a little bit different, which is a more muted sort of result there. Now, you look at it from this context. And what I just did is I took the pivot high of the previous market with the pivot low of the current bear market in order to give us that thesis, okay? And that's 7,350. Now, when I do it based on the previous low, then you see it goes up quite a bit here, goes into that 7,800 range right there. This seems like a little bit better of an evaluation. Still the golden ratio, it's just we're calculating the golden ratio in a different way. And by the way, if you guys note right here, the 1.27 ratio, which is the one that, like, I'm not a fan of it, but on the low end, when you have a breakout, that seems to be, according to Grok, where you settle a lot of times, which is why I have that blue line right there, just kind of out of nowhere. And that sits at around 6,000, which is why I said, because I'm not feeling it, that I think $6,000 is where Ethereum ends up going. Now, the golden ratio right now, the 618, the 1618 is sitting right there at about 7,400. So, and by the way, that also is where our little green box is, where I say, you know, this is the maximum level, maximum area where I think that we could break out to. Now, originally, I gave you a number up here at around 12,000. I just don't feel it. I don't feel it. It doesn't mean we're not going to have a nice run. Doesn't mean that we're not going to have some potentially crazy breakout. Okay. But I'm just not feeling it in the same way. So right now, I'm going to stick with 6,000 as the top, and then we'll see from there what happens. But here's the thing. 6,000 is enough for an absolute breakout order. This is going to be enough for an altcoin season, a fantastic, in fact, altcoin season. Meet says, believes you were right about Tau. Limit order hit at 410 for 4K worth. Awesome. As a matter of fact, if you guys are not paying attention right now, Tau is breaking out now, up 9% on the day at 450. So, yeah, guys, listen, I'm making content for these guys. I really like what I see in Tau. Now, one of the things that I'm going to say is it's complicated. That ecosystem has not been simplified yet to the point where it's just really, really easy to get into it. However, when you look at it, like Autopia, which is the last video that we did, decentralized marketplace for AI workers, what you can do, if you're not an AI broski, if you will, let's go to bot. If you're not an AI broski, then you're missing out on it. But if you want to create AI workers, people who can read your email for you and respond to your emails as you need. If you want people who manage your calendar, AI agents is what I'm talking about, not people, I guess I shouldn't say. But if you want any of those, here you go. You just come over to Autopia, and what this does is fascinating, by the way. So you go into Autopia Studio. It's an all-in-one AI platform for users and developers. What you can do, you can come in, you can create AI agents to manage your day for you, multiple AI agents, not just a single one, right? One focused on your emails, one focused on your calendar, one focused on YouTube videos, one focused on X platform. You create them. Then you use their platform, and then you tell their platform what you want it to learn, and then it will start a learning process, and then it will make your AI agents much sharper, more robust, and then boom, you deploy them, and they start managing your emails. And if you say, hey, look, I don't want to receive, you tell your AI agent, like, I don't want to receive emails from, God damn it, I don't even know. What's an adult site? RedTube? I don't want to receive any emails from RedTube anymore. Then it will just fix it so that you don't receive emails from RedTube. And now I'm realizing I've never heard of RedTube. Was something 20 years ago, wasn't it? God damn it. Whatever. Oh, MEXC. Okay. Let's say you don't want to receive emails from MEXC because they're a scam. and they ripped me off. So I don't want to get emails from them anymore unless they're making me an offer of money. Then your AI agent will read through those emails every single day, respond to them saying like, go fuck yourself or unsubscribe or yeah, we'll take that deal. You know what I mean? Unbelievable. How long is it going to be before Democrats say that AI have rights? I'm going to give that for acceptance. I'm going to give it 20 years. For fringe people who you guys are going to pretend like that's everybody. That's not just the one person. That's not just a few people. That's everybody. Everybody is in the same cult. Just because you're in a cult doesn't mean that everybody's in a cult. Most people don't give a shit what MAGA thinks. Most people don't give a shit what pussy hat wearers think. Most people don't care at all. The only people who care are people who sit on social media all day and just want the conflict because they think something's wrong with our country. And it's the MAGA people who are trying to become the fashion nationalists. And then you have the pussy hat wearing Antifa people going like, we need to be free. We have no kings. By the way, no kings protest, no violence over those no kings protests. Millions upon millions of people flooding into major cities to have a no kings protest, no violence. Maybe every city should have had a capital and just said, hey, happy J6 if they wanted violence. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm sorry. My bad. That was the Joe Biden FBI, even though Joe Biden wasn't president. Duh. That's my bad. You guys know that, right? You guys understand that, right? You see the tweets and you realize how dumb some of this shit is, right? Where it's like, oh my God, the Joe Biden FBI, they're the ones that did it. This motherfucker was the president. Are you really that dumb? Are you? Did you fall for it? Did you get suckered in? Did you be like, oh my God, I can't believe that Joe Biden hired Jerome Powell. Only a moron would do that. And then you see the videos of Donald Trump saying, I nominate Jerome Powell. Great guy, fantastic, unbelievable individual, doing that shit. Woo, baby. Woo. Here's the thing. What is going to happen at some point is we're going to reach a moment of self-awareness in some fashion. Guys, by the way, I'm going to be moving around a lot today, and I am I'm pulling my legs because I did leg day yesterday, and I am fucked up. I am messed up, man. God damn it. Also, I'm being interviewed in like an hour, and I'll let you know how that goes. I had this company that reached out to me a while back. I did some video promos and stuff like that for them. So now they're expanding their brand. They want to interview me. So I'm gonna be doing an interview in a little while, but one of those days, by the way, just absolutely one of those days. Also, for those of you that don't know, let me get onto a personal matter right now. And you can't see this, by the way, you can't see this, but this is what I'm on right now. It's called GHKCU. It's a naturally occurring copper peptide complex with potential anti-aging, regenerative, and healing benefits. Now, I'm stacking that with ipamorelin, which is boom, 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 duplicate. Ipamorelin, which is a synthetic peptide that acts as a growth hormone secretagogue. So what I'm on is growth hormones and a healing agent. But the side effect of the healing agent is like so most of you, if you look, my beard's kind of gray, you know what I mean? Feeling the advanced age, if you will, but I lost like 110 pounds so far, right? 242 today. So I've lost a little bit over 110 pounds, right? Getting myself back into, fit status, blah, 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 blah. Guess what? My hair is actually coming in dark. Now, the top of my hair has always been like, I don't have gray hair, right? I have gray hair here, a little bit right here, when I do this, but I haven't had gray hair up here. But if I did let my hair grow, then it would look like Reed Richards. I would have gray hair on the side and dark hair on the top. I would literally look like this Reed Richards, not the gay one. Okay. This Reed Richards, who ends up becoming the maker, where he's got like the little, grayish lines on the side of his head. That's exactly what my hair would kind of look like, except for the fact that I still have, the mohawk, and it's a little bit yellow and shit like that. But my point is that I've been on ipamorelin for a while, or samorelin for a little while, and it's been good. It's been good. Like my body, I don't have pains. I don't hurt, other than like DOMs when you get done working out. So that's been kind of cool. But anyway, I was using BPC 157, and I decided to switch over from BPC 157 and try some other things out. Like there's one called SLU PP32 that I wanted to try. It's a healing. I mean, they're all healing agents. And you take an injection every single day. So I mix up ipamorelin and GHKCU, and every single day I take an injection of these things. And what they're supposed to do, build your growth hormone and heal your body, right? Well, this one is GHKCU, and because it's got copper in it, the concentration of GHCQ in the body decreases as people age, which parallels the decline of the body's natural repair processes. So it promotes regeneration. It's thought to help regenerate skin, reduce inflammation, and promote hair growth by supporting cellular pathways and stimulating the production of factors like vascular endothelial growth factors. I don't know if that actually works or not. However, now when you look at my hair is coming in kind of dark on the sides. I don't like, by the way, I'm not opposed to it. I'm not angry or anything. Of course, I'm not. Anything that makes me look a tiny bit younger, sure, I'll go with that. But like and I shave this like every 2 days or so, just to kind of, keep it thin. But now this is starting to look a little bit darker than it was before. So if you're aging and you are starting to get a little bit gray and stuff like that, try GHKCU. I get demonetized. So I can't answer that question, but I could say simple peptides from a .com store would be a great place or a great idea. So I'm not sure if you should go to simple. I mean, I don't know. There's complicatedpeptides.com, and there's like simple peptides.com that you could go to and kind of check that out. And if you, by the way, if you want to lose weight, GLP-1, by the way, so if you're using GLPs, which are, the diabetic medication for weight loss, which is what I used, by the way, I use GLP-1 and I use GLP-2. If you use GLP-1, then your injection rate, something like 2 milligrams a week or something like that. Or just hair dye. No, I don't want to use I don't want to, that's the thing. I don't want to use the hair dye, because then you're obligated to do that like all the time. I just don't want to do that. So that was the reason I thought, you know what, let's give this a shot, because it's going to do the same thing. It's going to do the same thing as BP 157. But it's not complicatedpeptides.com. It's simple peptides.com. You know what I'm talking about? It's simple. It's simple. Does it make you regain more memory? For GHKCU, no. There is one though that I just saw right here, called CMAX. SEMAX. It's a synthetic peptide that's been studied for its potential cognitive enhancing and neuroprotective effects. Now, I actually, and I'll be fair, I got, I went to just some random website. I don't want to say the name of it. I mean, it's pretty simple where you get it. And then I made an order, and the order that I did was BPC 157, which is what I normally would do. And then there's a whole bunch of different kinds, by the way. And if you want like a stack for bodybuilding or something like that, you could do that. But I ended up getting, I think it was a Pitalone. Let me see what this one was. Yeah, this Pinailon. That's what it was. There we go. Never mind. I see it right there. I had one. It was called Pinailon. They sent me it in error, and then they told me just keep it. Like I can't send it back, but it was 10 milligrams of Pinailon, which Pinailon is allegedly something Ryo. It's a synthetic tripeptide that is investigated for its neuroprotective properties and potential anti-aging effects. Problem with it is you have to take a lot of it, and I only took a little bit because what I do is I have a 30-day supply. You take BPC 150, and by the way, I'm learning as I go that what I'm taking is probably not enough. It's like the minimum sort of dose. So BPC 157, you get 10 milligrams. The recommended dosage is 300 micrograms per day, which means that that's a 30-day supply at 300 micrograms. But I was thinking, like, you know what? I should probably double that. If I double that, will the healing benefits be even greater than they were before? So that was my thing. And then I started reading up on people talking about it, and they're like, you know what? Like, BPC 157 works, but man, if you take like 1 milligram per day, it really works. So I might be underdosing on that one. So we'll see. And I'm not sure where you can go to get them. Like, I have no idea. I guess, you got to figure out for yourself if, like it's complicated. Like, you never know like where you should go to buy them. You know what I mean? Like, I have no idea. BPC 157 messed my stomach up. I don't think I've never had a problem with GLP-1s. I've never had a problem with BPC 157. I've never had a problem with ipamorelin. I've never had a problem with this GHKCU, Pinailon. I haven't had any problems with any of them. Now, back to my story, by the way. I took the GLP-1, which was semaglutide. And that's the one that I usually take. And it's 2 milligrams per week, roughly, maybe 2.5 milligrams, something like that. Yes, it's going to be in just a second, Lisa. And I decided that, I was reading up on something. It was like, you want to lose fat, you got to use tirzepatide. So I went to tirzepatide and I started taking it. Doesn't have any effect at all. And then I was like, why is that not having an effect? I'm taking the same dosage. I looked at it. You have to take 7 times the dosage that you take. 7 times the dosage in order for tirzepatide to work the same way that GLP-1 does. It's called GLP-2. So for tirzepatide, for semaglutide, 10 milligrams for a month, you're perfect. Like that's perfect for you. But for tirzepatide, you need almost 100 milligrams a month for the same effect, or like 100 milligrams every 6 weeks. So it's like 70 milligrams that you need to take for a month. Like, it's fucking crazy. But then if you go here, like on just any random website, like, I don't know, let's call it like, I don't know, simple. Let's make it simple, like a peptide. We'll make it like a simple peptide. But you see right here, you have a 10 milligram GLP-1 right there, $74 for 1 SG semaglutide. Then you have over here too for tirzepatide. 10 milligrams of tirzepatide is more expensive. What the fuck? It's more expensive and you need 7 times as much. That's why they have 100 milligrams right here, because that's how much you need in order to actually like lose weight. Here's 15 milligrams, 120. Here's 20 milligrams. Here's 30 milligrams. Here's 60 milligrams. There's your monthly dose. Your monthly dose goes from $74 to $325. By the way, the average weight loss for a person is 16% of your body weight over the course of 1 year taking a GLP-1, semaglutide. With tirzepatide, it's 20%. And with the third generation, which is called retatrutide, with a third generation, it's actually 24%. So it's way more effective. However, you also have to take 7 times the normal doses. So on a 6 milligrams, no, 24 milligrams. For GLP-3 retatrutide, $240. Is Ozempic better? No, it's not better. Retatrutide is a GLP-3. That is better than any of the other ones. And it also targets and focuses on your fat, by the way. Also, I'm going to give you one more piece. We're going to get back to crypto in just a second, but I'm going to give you one more piece. If you have fat around your midsection, like let's say, like here, if you have fat around your midsection right there, if you have fat around your midsection right there and you're trying to get rid of it, then there is a product for you. And you don't have to have HIV, by the way, to use it, but it was made for HIV patients, and it's right here. It's called tesamorelin, T-E-S-A morelin. Okay. And for whatever reason, the peptides in tesamorelin actually attack the fat cells around your stomach. The reason for that was because there was an old HIV cocktail that people used to take back in the 90s, 2000s, 2010s, before they made some serious advances. And one of the byproducts of doing that, the byproducts of it was that you gained weight around your midsection specifically from this HIV cocktail. And tesamorelin, the peptide in tesamorelin, it burns the fat in your stomach. So this was prescribed to HIV people who were taking the HIV cocktail, not to HIV patients, but the people who were taking the HIV cocktail, they were prescribing tesamorelin to them in some kind of form in order for them to burn the fat off of their stomach. Well, now it's available for you to burn the fat off of your stomach. Now, the one that I use is not tesamorelin. The one that I use is ipamorelin, which does a similar thing, but it doesn't, I don't think it attacks the stomach fat or anything like that, but it's a better growth hormone receptor. So, and that's all I need is just more growth hormone, you know. I'm old man, so let's make it happen. How long before Bleaves marries an AI dummy? I don't know. Ask my wife. I mean, she'll let you know. She'll tell you. She'll be like, never. Or I don't know. Can she do dishes? You know what I mean? Like, we don't know. So anyway, back to crypto now. Leeson. So check out Autopia. Go to the Autopia studio. Like, check this thing out. Start to set yourself up some AI agents. Buy yourself some of the cryptos. You know, check them out. Get, you know, by the way, Bitcoin is ripping to 106. What the fuck just happened here? All right, we're up $50 billion on the day. Bitcoin is back up to 115,880. I'm Dr. Profit Crypto, and this is Jackass. Man, oh man, oh man. Anyway, let's get back to it. SharpLink bought 78 million in Ethereum and they're storing it away. XRP price chart pattern hints at a 2017 style breakout as Evernorth acquires 1 billion XRP ahead of NASDAQ debut. What is going on with XRP? By the way, we can't use the same mechanism here to look at XRP and get that, you know, get that full on breakout. But if we were to do it with Fibonacci off of the previous top over there and do this right here, then we get the 1618, which is like way down here, $3. We've already hit that. We've already hit that. If you want to take it from the previous low, which was down here, and then you want to go to the previous high, which was way up hither from yonder, then it gives you $5.38, but then it gives you the full 4236 breakout at about $14. Now, the reason that I came up with $25 was I looked at this and I said, you know, it feels like it's going to be more. It feels like there's going to be a moment of rotation into XRP that's going to cause something crazy to happen, right? So we've already seen $3.66 as a breakout. Now, the question would be, you know, what's going to be that next move? Well, I have way too many goddamn lines here. We're going to start to peel this back here. I don't really need all of these positions here. We can always find them again. Boom, 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 boom. That's in the past. We don't need that one. So, you know, maybe we look at it from this and say, what's the Fibonacci breakout level right now for the next move, right? Well, right there in the next target zone, the 127 is right at $7.15, which was in the box where I gave you before. And then another one at $8.16, which is the golden zone. When you start to look at the breakout, it's going to give you about the same level, by the way, that you got previously. This is not very different from what we got from this long-term Fibonacci over here. So, you know, bear that in mind. that, you know, we got a long way to go, in my opinion, on XRP. It's going to be a full-on breakout. It's going to be a full-on all-time high, probably looking at $8. What I think is this. What I think is, it's the amount of capital coming into crypto. If we just take a moment and we step back and we say about 6 trillion, you know, 6 trillion would be a good number to come in. Let's do this. It is my belief that XRP goes to about at least $1 trillion in market cap. Right now, Ethereum is at 500. XRP is at 159, which means that XRP could go about 7x right now to go to $1 trillion market cap. And where does that end up? That ends up at about $15, $16. But what happens if it continues its breakout and we really get mass adoption? Well, another 500 million in market cap right now would add another $7 to $18, and boom, that's 25. So my prediction is basically that XRP is going to hit a $1.5 trillion market cap from where it is right now. 159 billion, 1.5 trillion is the number. Could I be wrong? 100%. 100%. But I don't think I'm going to be wrong about Ethereum going to the neighborhood. Ethereum probably goes near $1 trillion market cap. And then I think XRP goes to at least $1 trillion market cap. Again, that's about 7 or 8x from where it is right now, meaning that it's going to end up at roughly $16. It could go higher. Bull Run Rich says $18 to $19. I think that's a fair level to say that, you know, you're going to get a nice big wick that takes you up into that range. I would set a sell order for that, by the way, you know, because I mean, I would set a sell order right there. I would not be, for me, I would not be sticking around to $25. I'll just let you guys know that. For me, $16 is going to be my exit point right there, because just in case, I want to make sure that I lock in. No to $1 trillion. Yeah, it's somewhere in that neighborhood. Like, I know that it is. So, yeah, I'm just eyeballing it right now. So, I'm not the one turning the frogs gay. It's you people. Ugh. You know what's awesome, by the way? Have you ever seen that before and after Alex Jones picture? Alex Jones before and after meme. This dude was like, I took my supplements for 45 days and this is what happened. Look at that. You can't make that shit up. You can't make that shit up. And they had a whole bunch of people looking at it, right? This dude didn't get any skinnier. Nothing happened here other than he got a tan. And if you notice, they darken the room. Like, this dude thinks that you're that dumb. They think that you're that dumb that you can't see the difference. Fucking wild, man. This dude is fucking wild. Oh, God, it's crazy. Do you know I've never watched Alex Jones? I've never in my life watched an Alex Jones show, never listened to it or anything like that. But the only affiliation that I would have with Alex Jones, by the way, I don't give a shit if you watch him or not. That's, you know, if you want to be retarded, if you want to be Elon Musk, you be Elon Musk. I've never watched Alex Jones, but I have seen that video where they're turning the freaking frogs gay or something like that. And then there was another one, but it wasn't actually Alex Jones. It was on a TV show, and it was called Homeland. And it starred the guy from Billions, Daniel Lewis. I think his name is something like that. Daniel Lewis, something. And then I think the girl's name was Claire, but it was the girl who played Juliet and Romeo and Juliet, Claire Danes. Claire Danes. There we go. In Homeland, they had an episode or a season where this guy was one of those right-wing extremist guys, running his show from a basement and stuff like that. And he was complaining about a conspiracy. I think the conspiracy was real. Like, it was like a real conspiracy that ended up playing out. By the way, Amit, sorry the BNB isn't pumping if you got some the other day. I thought it would be higher by now. I thought it would break out a little bit more. I still think it's going to break out a lot more, but we'll see what happens. By the way, Dow Jones up again, big, all-time high one more time. And what do you say to that? You better say thanks, Donald Trump, because guess what? All of those things are finally starting to pay off. In 2 days, Trump is going to meet with Xi Jinping, and they're going to talk about the trade deal. And do you know what's going to happen? Xi Jinping is going to come back and be like, I don't know what the fuck these guys talking about. Like, Jesus Christ, man, we just need to buy all of the Winnie the Pooh plushies and stuffed animals in America and burn them. Stop calling me Winnie the Pooh. And Donald Trump is going to be like, we just made the biggest deal, largest deal in history, the greatest deal. A lot of people are saying, most people are saying, greatest deal of all time. Tariffs are going to stay the same, however, or we're going to delay it for 90 days, Taco Don. So, and it'll be good for the markets, by the way. It'll be pushing kicking the can down the road. And by the way, just so you guys understand, there doesn't have to be a tariff war. There doesn't have to be a trade war. They just have to give America what America wants. That's it. So when you guys hear me over here just talking mad shit about Donald Trump and clowning on the guy, I say that also supporting the tariffs. Okay, I am a fan of the tariff. So I don't think that it's great for the economy in the short term, but I think it's spectacular for the economy in the long term. There are problems, like, for example, beef sales overseas or something like that. American companies can't sell beef overseas or whatever the case may be. Does it open the door for new places for you to sell and trade your goods? Hopefully, over the long term, it will. Hopefully. But again, just like Amit says right here, all good, be patient. Howard Stern's staff does a great parody of Alex Jones. I feel like I could do an Alex Jones parody at some point. I did one for an attorney at one point where I was joking around being an attorney. I didn't stick with it, but I felt like I could. Well, you know what? God damn it. You're going to get me off track again. Son of a bitch. Kobayashi says, breaking. Microsoft and Apple officially become the second and third companies in the world to be worth over $4 trillion. So NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Apple are now the wealthiest companies in the world. NVIDIA, Microsoft, and Apple. Yeah, I thought I said Alphabet. Jesus Christ. Those Reagan commercials from Canada pissed Trump off. Right. Because the truth hurts. The truth hurts that. Like, are you guys understanding what a baby you have to be that you're like, it's AI. It's AI. Anything that Donald Trump says is AI. Like, does he really think that you're that stupid? That's the question that you should ask yourself. Do you really think that I'm that stupid? Ask that question every time he says something. When you see it, ask yourself. And by the way, that video is out of context totally, by the way. Just to be very clear. What Ronald Reagan was saying was that, tariffs are not an effective thing for a country, that they don't work. However, he was talking about the Hawley Smoot Tariff Act, which sunk the U.S., according to Ferris Bueller's Day Off, into a greater depression. Okay. But Ronald Reagan did use tariffs. Targeted tariffs are fine. The fact that Donald Trump is doing a blanket tariff is where the disconnect comes from. He's just every country is my enemy and I'm tariffing everybody. You get a tariff. You get a tariff. Check under your chair, bitch. You get a tariff too. You know what I mean? And it's probably not the way to go about it. But Ronald Reagan doesn't know that. The fuck does he know? So, I'm a supporter of the tariffs, even if I'm not a MAGA weirdo. Fruitcake, bitch. Can you say bitch? Can you call him bitch? Can you say, hey, you're MAGA, you're a little bitch? What I really wanted to do, by the way, is because I can't keep my brain focused this morning. What I really wanted to do one day was I was going to Kentucky and we were going to go hang out in the country somewhere. And I was going to wear a blue hat that said Trump is a faggot and just see how it goes. Because, if I get attacked, I'm going to be able to defend myself. Spoiler alert. And number two, I'm also bigger than most people. So when I walk in somewhere, people are like, oh shit. Like, ugh, goddamn. Like, I don't look like somebody that you would mess with if you walked in somewhere. So we went into a restaurant and everybody, I mean, it was Trump Central. It was Trump Central. And by the way, when I say Trump Central, what I mean, it's very simple. I'm not trying to be complicated. A lot of poor, broke-ass brokies who say stuff like Jesus is real, shit like that. Weird stuff. They those people, 44th in education out of 50 states. You know what I'm talking about? 50th in life expectancy, Southern hospitality. So anyway, I just thought, man, I just wear a blue hat that says Trump is a faggot on it. Like, that would be just hilarious. Just to see people staring at me, and I'll just be looking like, or Black Lives Matter with a Black Lives Matter shirt. And I'd be dressed like, and then the hat would have dreadlocks on it. You know what I mean? Like, just, I was told I can't do that, but you know what I mean? It actually wasn't hunting season. It was sometime around now. It was actually like September, something like that. So it was still warm outside. It wasn't that bad, but it would have been funny. Would have been super funny. Bull market indicators, absolutely nothing hit right now. So keep holding. Sign up to the channel. TerraCasino.io for all your risk-based gaming needs. Terraport.finance for all of your meme coin trading and utility trading on the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem. They, by the way, are far and away the biggest supplier of DeFi in the Terra Luna Classic community. By the way, Terra Luna Classic, I think, is about to have a nice little run. For those of you that don't know, that market module is going to test center. They're going to start testing it. That's going to change the paradigm of Terra Luna Classic. Will it rebuild the ecosystem? I don't know. I think it's going to help, but I don't know. I just think that it's important. Also, meme linked. I got a message from somebody out of nowhere that was asking me about meme linked and how, something to MEXC or I don't know. They were like, could you help me with something? And I was like, no. Like, I don't work for you. You know what I mean? So we'll see what happens there. And then the dev ecosystem, again, 2 hours. Oh, we've actually got a post here. 7 trillion moving daily, none settling together. Dev puts finality on that speed when Dev's automatic settlement engine completes every leg in one verified block. When no gaps, no exposure, just final markets that move as one. When? That's the only question at this point. WEN. When? Ew. Isn't a when like, what is a when, by the way? A boil or a swelling growth on the skin. No shit. I thought that's what it was. I thought it was going to be like a boil or a bump on the skin, or maybe like a little, like them little gay beards from those guys who think they're cool. You know what I'm talking about? Little chin dick or whatever they call it. But when will it happen? That is the question. Crypto bubbles. We're going to skip that for today. Fear and greed index is kind of mid. Nothing really happening over there. The ETF yesterday, inflows of 149 million on the Ethereum ETF. It was inflows of holy shit level 134 billion. So, or 134 million, which means that, we're back on our BS, if you will. So, it's a pretty good sign. It's a pretty good sign of recovery. Does it mean that we're recovered? Not yet, but it means that there is a possibility. Also, look at this. We were up 50 billion a few moments ago. We were up 50 billion a few moments ago, and we're now down. America, hashtag America, hashtag America. There is no liquidity that I won't steal. Fuck you think? robbing people. That's how America was built. Ha! Engine. You know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking. You know. All right, so it dropped below the 50 MA, which is not a great sign, by the way. This is an absolute dunk and sell-off, massive one. But the Dow Jones is starting to pump a little bit. So I get a feeling that this is just a little clearinghouse of just kind of, I think the bears right now, there's not enough strength, by the way, in bulls at this moment right now. There's no news. There's no real movement in retail. There's no real push, if you will, for a big move. There's no real, again, we've got on Friday, we've got I'm sorry, today we've got the Fed meeting. Tomorrow we'll get the rate announcement, whatever that might be. We're also getting towards the end of Jerome Powell's term. It ends in May of 2026. So, we're not that far away from a real paradigm shift in all of these markets. So, so we'll see what happens here. I do think that we're going to see some real upward momentum. I mean, you look at Bitcoin and how can you not be excited? I mean, we just surged up here to 116,000 again after, what is that goddamn guy's name? Oh yeah, Dr. Profit. And this is Jackass. Said that, if we're going to hit 116 or God damn it, I can't remember what the number was. I don't know. Anyway, what we're getting right now is a potential for an absolute breakout. We come out here, we zoom out, and what do we see? We see that the accumulation zone is right here in this range. What's happening right now? Sell off into that range. We need a double top. Once we get that double top, we'll find out whether or not we're bullish or not. And by the way, when we look at it from a double top, we got a higher low right there, and we got a higher low on RSI, which means that this is a natural progression. This is not some kind of wild thing. So I do think that we're about to start heading a little bit higher. Okay, I think we're going to start seeing that. The thirst right now for crypto and assets is going to just increase over time. We're going to continue moving. I'm going to dump this. I'm going to dump this. We're going to get rid of this. There we go. All right. So why the fuck did I do that? Oh, we don't want that. Oh, God damn it. I just screwed up my son of a bitch. Wait. There. No, shit. There it is. There we go. All right, let's try that again. Ta-da. All right. Now let's get into some of the rest of this stuff. Ethereum not moving very well. We'll do a live stream tonight, by the way, and talk about trading. I set a 14,200 entry for Bitcoin, and then I did not enter it. I canceled it after I set it because I was like, you know what? Let's just see if the market will allow it to come down. So I'm not in on this one. But BNB, Solana, Link, let's just move down to what's pumping. Right now, we've got a pump going on, and we're on the 1 hour. Let's move back to the daily here. We got a pump on HBAR, getting a nice little rip here because, by the way, this was, remember what I told you the other day, let it run. When it dumps back after this, this is going to be your entry position. So right now would be kind of a decent entry position, in my opinion, if you were going to go long on HBAR or if you were going to enter. And by the way, remember we had this long thing playing out right here. Like, it could be that, if you remember, I said that I think that the what do you call it? That the Elliott wave was dead. Maybe it's not dead. Maybe it's just a long little sideways movement. So you could see that one come back to life. Arrow is up to 92 cents. Pendle is down to 329. Pendle did not recover very well at all, by the way. Huge lender just didn't recover very well. OM still continuing its downward trend. Like, guys, I don't have any. I've still got faith in the process, and I know that it's going to have a moment where it starts to shine again. But, currently it doesn't really matter what they do, just not feeling it. By the way, that does mean that new buyers are not stepping in. That's really all it is. It's just new buyers not stepping in. Mantra is going to need a massive announcement. They're going to need a big partnership or something to really kind of change the narrative. So I'm going to wait around for it. I'm going to hold on to it for a while. And I'm just going to sit here and just, wait. I've got 18,000 right now. So I'm just going to hold on to them. Hope for the best. Dev, again, I got a little over 50,000 of this, just waiting for it to actually move. So we'll see what happens there. Definity down 11% today. Had a massive sell-off yesterday. I was expecting a little bit more from the last little pump coming back up to the top of the range. Didn't get that, but I thought, right into that range right there would be a really good spot. We just didn't get that move. So maybe we'll see it. Maybe we won't. I have no idea. Remember, Definity, and by the way, I've still not spoken to Definity. I have no idea what's going on over there. But I did see the data. I do know that they made a ton of money, that they continue to produce. And if you want a discount on your fees for trading Forex, then the Definity token you have to have in your wallet. So at least there's a function and a use for it. As they grow, the desire for the Definity token is only going to increase. In my opinion, by the way, they should start a burn process for anything that's kind of sitting off to the side and start doing something for their investors. I think that they should do some buyback and burns with some of the funds that they have. Shit like that, I think would go a long way towards reestablishing important trust in that community. But I don't know if they even have a mechanism for it. So who knows? Tau breaking out right now, back up to the top of the range. But again, I told you before, this is a range that's been at for a little while, going up to 485. I now have 5 Tau, by the way. Those videos have been pretty good to me. So I'm going to continue making them. And I think I got a new one coming very, very soon. It takes a second for that page to load every once in a while. It gets overloaded. It's a small server or something like that. I don't know. API 3, still waiting for that breakout to happen. By the way, I bought back in at $1, so I'm down pretty big. But I made a good profit off of it. So, nothing much to complain about. I would suspect that we're going to see some upward momentum. By the way, I do think there's a reversal here in the trend, and it's been under this range again, winter mute. Because it's been under that range, we do have to look at it from a different standpoint, saying that this little pump that we got the last time probably no longer valid, and most likely what we're looking at is going to be this right here, right there, and then this right here, right there. At best, maybe we look at it from this to here. So another breakdown, maybe a little bit of a breakdown. I don't think that there's going to be one, but the upside right now is about $1.35. So that's about a 30% profit. So I'm going to set a sell order somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.30 just to get back out and get a little profit off of it, and then set a buy under $1 this time. Like I set it at $1. I'm down. Now I'm looking at it like, you know what? It just doesn't have the strength that I thought it was going to have. Luna Classic, moving a tiny bit, but nothing major. Fiat, guys, if you listen to me when I talk about Fiat and you get in when it goes to 1.4 cents to 1.6 cents, guess what? It's at 1.7.5 right now. So, it's doing exactly what it always does. Now let's get rid of that and let's go to the DEX screener and let's talk about some of these meme coins. Fiat's up, TAR's up a little bit. Everything else just kind of down on the day. Exceller continues to underperform right now. Definity down 15% on the day. Blocky down a little bit for the day. Looking for right wing to have a comeback. Haven't seen it yet. And then boom, right there. Volt. All right. So Volt, I'm told that November 22nd is a big day for Volt. I don't know why. I don't know exactly what's going on yet. But when I look at it from this context and I start to zoom out a little bit, I like the fact that we broke through that recovery zone, came up through this. Again, where do you bounce off of? Where is your rejection area? It's right there. Where did you go into this last time? Right into that rejection area. What does that mean? Well, you got all the way up into this wick too. If you see that right there, let's call it the John wick. Ha 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 ha. And then we got to talk about this level coming up next. So in the event that they do have a positive breakout, you could be looking at it going up to 0.008 in very short order, because there's going to be some sell in this range right here at a little bit over 6.5. So we'll see what happens. Also, yeah, we need to talk about Moon AI, by the way, because Moon AI is actually Moon AI-ing, or it was anyway. It was at $1 million market cap yesterday, ran up to a what was the number here? It looked like a 1.5 million, 1.63 million market cap. So if you got in down here at a 500,000 market cap, you're now up 3x. You're having a nice little profit. If you took your profit yesterday and then you got that nice big move, it's, you know, like it's a down day, but you're starting to see some of the stuff coming together and it's working very, very well. 24-hour DEX volume still coming down. That does mean that retail has kind of exited the arena for right now. That's, you know, it should be fair to say at this point. Solana, 5 billion. So it's Solana season, of course. Ethereum at 3 billion, as it always is. And BSC down to 3 billion. Base 1.5. SWI, everything else is under a billion, sub 1 billion. So there we are. That's it. All right, so we got a bad gateway timeout. Oh, they must be putting up the new one. So there's gonna be a new BitTensor video coming very soon. They haven't put out the whatchamacallit for it yet. So just waiting for that. Anyway, that's the show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, it's not financial advice. I'm always right. I appreciate you guys, and we'll see you again on the next.
They call me